Hello, everyone, and welcome to PopCultX. Strike that. Hold on. Welcome, everyone, to the official PopCultX Unofficial Project Runway recap show. My name is Danny, and along with Gabriel, we're your hosts here for this unofficial recap show that's going to be talking about all things Project Runway for the brand new season 21. Gabe, I'm excited about this.
So am I. I'm so glad to see Heidi Klum back as host with new host Law Roach. Along back is Nina Garcia and Christian Siriano. So I'm really excited about this season.
Yeah, let's dive right into the judges first because you brought them up. So Nina Garcia is back. Of course, she is a mainstay at Project Runway from all its different iterations, All Stars, the new one that was on the other channel E or whatever for a while. She was there, so she was like been the main consistent, I think.
Yeah.
Even when Tim Gunn was gone, she was still there. And now she's back, and like you said, Heidi Klum is back, which is exciting because it takes us back to the first 18 seasons or whatnot of the show, and the new judge, which I thought was interesting. And I'm a fan of Law Roach and his stylist, that he's a celebrity stylist.
Yeah.
And I think he brings a different perspective to the judging panel because in the past, it's always been a designer, right? Mm-hmm. So someone who's sat in the shoes of the contestants, someone who's, been where they've been and creating these clothes. Now we have someone in Law who is on our side of the table, who will take those clothes that he sees in front of him and use them for his clients.
Right.
I think I enjoy that perspective that he brings in. He's very brash, very, candid about his thoughts. And I like that.
Yeah, he's extremely straightforward, which you can love or hate, but he's going to give it to you, the way he likes and share what's on his mind for sure. And we got a lot of that this episode. We'll get into that coming up soon, but he definitely is a straight shooter.
Yeah, that is a good way of putting it. He absolutely is, and I appreciate that. I know, just give it to me straight, give it to me honestly. Don't beat around the bush. Just tell me what you think.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about someone who's just, honest and is not going to lie to you and kind of blow smoke and just tell you what their opinion is. You can take it for what it's worth, but, he's going to deliver it, one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. And it really will show which designers have a thicker skin.
Right.
Because I think his critiques, they might be a little harsh, but they are valid for the most part, maybe. I mean, I know and we'll get into this, they disagree, the judges, on a couple of the looks.
Yeah.
And so like you said, what side of the fence you're going to be on that, it's up to you. But let's start with episode 1. So it was a 2-episode premiere that just took place this past week. And episode 1, we saw new house, new rules, which was interesting because I guess they're doing a little bit different. The first 2 challenges were group challenges, which is always a way to, liven the mood there in the challenges. So it was really fun to see that they started it off with a bang. And episode 1, you texted me about this when we started planning the show, was full of drama.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were correct. It did not disappoint in that regard. So let's talk a little bit about the episode 1 before we get into the individual designers.
Okay. So the design challenge was Disney princesses versus villains, right? So it was divvied up between the 2 teams. One team got to be inspired by Disney princesses, the other team inspired by Disney villains. So it's really exciting because I think there's a lot to play with there, right? Mm-hmm. It's sort of the iconic look of a princess versus the really fun, over-the-top, dramatic looks of a villain. So I was really excited to see what they were going to come up with. How about you? Was that challenge something that you felt was exciting and something that really pulled out their creativity?
Yeah, I think, though, inherently it led to the villains team being a leg up, if you will, because the villains always get to have more fun. in
Yeah.
my estimation. They always do. They always get the more dramatic look, So I think right from the get-go, I was like, "Ooh, House of Villains. I think they're gonna win." And of course, that team won the challenge.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that if I were to choose which team to be on, I would have chosen villains as well, just
Mhm.
because um, that just appeals to my own nature and to what the aesthetics that I like. But I think that princesses, I think, at the end of the day, a lot of girls want to feel like a princess, and that's an aesthetic that they go for.
That's true.
So
That's
it
true.
you can't really sell it short because that's what the potential client would want, right? Is
Right.
to have that princess moment, whether it be for a wedding, a quinceañera, just a special gown to make them feel, like the belle of the ball, if you will.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I guess no. That is true though. To an extent, I guess some girls growing up, like you said, have that fantasy of the Prince Charming and then the whole Disney princess thing, right? So yeah, that is true. But
Yeah.
I like you said, am more drawn to the villain aesthetic.
Yeah. And so the teams had a lot of drama when it came to what they were going to be doing, right? You had the princess team that one of the contestants had a fabric that he brought with him from home and
Mhm.
really wanted to use. And the other contestants were like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. Don't want to do it. But he kind of took charge and kind of forced them into using that as their inspiration.
Yeah, yeah. So we can get into a little bit of the well, how would you call it? The more dominant personalities
Yeah.
in the workroom. So you were speaking about Antonio Estrada, who is, I think, the twin brother of a former contestant on the show, Jesus Estrada,
Yeah.
who's actually back on the show. So it's fun to see a pair of brothers in on the show at the same time. But yeah, he did bring a fabric at home that had like some butterflies on it, and he was trying to really ram it down the throats of the other contestants on his team to use that fabric, and most of them were not having it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I think that both of the Estrada brothers sort of took charge of their respective teams and,
yeah,
and became the leader and were sort of bossing everyone around. I can certainly see how maybe someone would think that they're rubbing them the wrong way because they're very strong-willed and had their
hmm
opinions. Um, I personally didn't find that fabric to be all that appealing.
yeah,
I didn't see the correlation between that and what their assignment was.
yeah,
It was very girly, but I didn't really see the princess aspect to it. I think it wasn't elevated enough. But I mean, we can talk about where they fall in the landings when it comes to judging, but um, I'm along with the other people on the team that was like, no, on that fabric. I would have gone with something else.
yeah. I agree with you on that. The fabric choice. I guess maybe he just wanted to make an impact to for the first episode, first challenge, be like, yeah, I'm the one to beat here. I don't
Yeah.
know. It could
Yeah.
be that. I mean, he just like you said, they did take charge. They were what's the way to put it, the loudest people in the room,
Yeah,
maybe.
they definitely have like a diva attitude. They're both very take charge. They're very self assured and think that they're going to make it to the end. So uh, that's to be seen if they're going to make it to the end. But they definitely feel like they're deserving of a win and are going to do whatever they need to do in order to get there.
Yeah, and that carried through to the judging panel as well for both episodes for both the brothers,
Yeah.
right? So in different ways. With Antonio taking didn't take criticism that well, I guess you'll put it. And he even says that he's a Gemini and didn't take criticism very well. So
Right. And that even started, rewinding a bit from Christian Siriano's
that's true.
critique and him giving his advice to Antonio about the look and him
Hmm
saying like he doesn't do well with critique, that he is a Gemini and he's not going to take it well, which is really unfortunate to see on a show like this because Christian Siriano is such a huge um, resource to pull from. He's
Yeah.
a successful designer. He's been in their place. He's a former winner of Project Runway, so he knows exactly, what they're going through. And I think that you don't necessarily need to listen to exactly what he says word for word. You can still go with your own instincts, but at the same time, I mean, be open to what he has to say. He's a successful designer. He's in the industry. He knows a lot of things. He's, a great resource to use.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I was on that show, I'd listen to what he'd say. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for
Um,
sure.
you said something about a diva, and this guy, this gentleman, really stood out to me because he wanted to be known by one name.
Yeah.
He wanted his first name and his last name to be smashed together, and that's what he wanted everyone to call him. And I got a kick out of that. It wasn't irritating. I thought it was funny that when people, oh, your name is Joseph. No, Joseph McCrae. And
Yeah.
then he wanted everyone to call him that. And I thought it was really smart if you want your name to be remembered, your first name, last name, to kind of, this is what I want to be called, and this is what you will call me.
Right. I think it's smart when it comes to his branding. He wants to get his name out there,
Hmm.
and his name is not Joseph, it's Joseph McCrae. So it's smart. I think it's funny that when Heidi Klum calls him by Joseph, he doesn't correct
Yeah,
her.
that's
He knows where to draw the line and not to check someone that is in a position of power. So he didn't make her feel stupid, but he definitely made some of the other contestants feel a little dumb by saying, "No, my name's not Joseph; it's Joseph McCrae." So I thought that was kind of interesting. Another person that sort of has a little bit of a diva attitude was a contestant from the Philippines who was also, I believe, on Project Runway Philippines, and she was not very much a team player. VJ,
true.
she kind of stuck to herself and did her own thing. Was interesting to see because I think you have to form relationships with other contestants and sort of get some feedback from them and in order to be successful. So it's going to be interesting to see if she lets her guard down and will listen to other contestants because especially when they're on a team event
Hmm.
or a team contest or competition, they kind of have to listen to each other and have
Yeah.
to be good team players. And she certainly wasn't doing that. So that's going to be interesting as well.
That is true. And yeah, she was really keeping to herself and whatnot, just, doing what she wanted to do. But that really came through, I think, on the second episode, second challenge,
Yeah.
especially for the team Burn, I think it was, or House of Burn.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in just a moment. I just want to take a moment and did you have a favorite designer so far that you really, vibed with?
Based off of their personality or based off of their look?
Either or both or one of each.
Okay, we're gonna go over the cast members here in a second, but
Let's
I
do it right now. Let's go through
okay.
the cast.
So we already kind of went over the Estrada brothers, Antonio and Jesus. They're I am a fan of Jesus. I am kind of initially rooting for him.
Mhm.
He ended up on with one of the winning looks this week for the first competition, and but he did kind of get a really harsh judging by Law Roach,
Yeah.
and so that was interesting because he had a winning look, but he still got taken to task. So I do really like him. I am on the fence when it comes to his brother Antonio, but I like them as a team. Especially since they're Mexicanos. I am rooting for them. I want to see them do well on the show. What about you? What are your thoughts on them?
I do want to see them do well. I think um the brothers I can root for. I If I had to pick one of the two, I think I kind of like Antonio's. Seems like he has a chip on his shoulder a little bit more
Uh,
than his brother does because he I think who said it, that, oh yeah, he works in his brother's storeroom.
yeah,
Does that make him a designer, right?
yeah.
So I think he has something more to prove. So I like rooting for the underdog in a way.
Okay.
But for the rest of the cast, let's go ahead and break it down. So there's Belania, Casey, Ethan, Joan, Madeline, VJ, and Yuchen. Now
Yeah.
I didn't say their last names because time wise, I guess here on PopCultX. But
Yeah.
out of those, did you have like a one that you thought, oh yeah, I could see this person winning?
I really like Ethan,
Yeah.
or AKA Utica.
Hmm.
I'm a fan of his from RuPaul's Drag Race. He does really amazing designs for his drag persona. It can kind of go towards the costume kind of side because he's a performer. So I'm really interested to see if he can kind of pull back and design for the everyday woman. But I am very much team Ethan. I am
Yeah.
gonna be rooting for him. I think he has a really cool personality. He's hilarious. He's funny, and then also I think that he's a great designer.
Yeah, I agree. I liked his aesthetic and his look so far. I forgot to mention there's also Alex and Angelo, two other ones. My screen scrolled down too much.
Was that because they're forgettable or?
I hope not. I really hope not because the gentleman Angelo, I don't know, I kind of liked his story
Yeah,
a little bit, and I kind of liked they called him a little safe in the second challenge, a little, I don't want to say boring with his look of his red his athleisure wear, but I really think he's going to be the dark horse that I'm going to root for.
yeah, yeah. He does more of a menswear, streetwear
Hmm.
type apparel, and he's there like kind of for his daughter. He has her name
Yeah.
tattooed on his neck, so that was kind of a cute thing. Alex, was she's no longer on the show, right?
Was she?
Was she eliminated? Let me pull up her. Let's see.
Okay, so for the first episode, first and talking about eliminations.
Yeah,
So for the first episode, they made reference to this and when they were introducing the cast,
yeah,
and I thought, oh, I better take note of that because when Casey Black was mentioned that she was a returning designer and that her claim to fame, I guess if you will, was that she was eliminated first from her season.
yeah,
So when they said that, I said, does that mean it might happen again? And sure enough,
yeah.
in this season, she was the first designer eliminated. So there's that claim to fame for her again, which is kind of sad. But, I mean, I
I think
guess
it's terribly sad. Like it broke my heart because
yeah,
it's not like getting voted off of Big Brother or Survivor, where it's about your gameplay, about how you mesh well with the other people. This is based off of your talent. So I just imagine being on a show that you're judged on your talent that you work your life for, and getting voted off not just once but twice. I could imagine would be incredibly heartbreaking
yeah,
because it's like your stuff's not good times two.
yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, that is very, very true. To be told, hey, you're not as good as everyone else here twice. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it definitely, you're good enough to get on the show. So that speaks, a lot about you.
that's true.
That's very competitive to get on that show. So that's good. But people, will always remember you as the girl who got voted off twice on, first round. So
Yeah.
that sort of sucks. But when you look at her design, I think it was fair that she was let go because
Mhm.
I wasn't a fan of her look. It was just sort of like all over the place, and it was not a flattering look at all.
No, you're right. It wasn't. So I mean the judges were correct,
Yeah.
but it still sucks.
The other thing that was interesting about judging is that Antonio apparently thought he was being punked and didn't think that he deserved being in the bottom.
Yeah.
And he made those thoughts well known to the judges, to the point where they called him out for being rude
Hmm.
and for being arrogant. And he said, maybe it's because he's Latina, but uh, I don't know. What do you think? Did he come off as rude? And do you think that it was a mistake of his to sort of run his mouth, or did he? Was it fair for him to share his opinion?
I mean, it's always fair to share your opinion if you believe in your work, right?
Yeah.
So standing up for your work is one thing. What I think he was doing was, I don't know. I mean, and I guess when he kept saying, "I'm not being defensive,"
Yeah.
but when you clearly are, so I think that kind of rubbed me a little bit off or the wrong way. But it it made for good TV. Let's just say that.
Yeah, he definitely, I think the producers love him because they're
Hmm.
bringing conflict and drama. But you kind of wonder, someone who doesn't take critique well decided to join his show,
Where they
then
get
a
critiqued.
critique of his work. So it's kind of interesting that, he chose to be there, and decided to go on that journey. I agree that his look was not good. I think he tried to blame a bit on Christian, uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
on why he went down that route. But
Hmm.
I think you have to stand by your own work, one
Yeah.
way or the other. And he didn't. He sort of tried to blame it on someone. He was full of excuses,
Yeah. Exactly. Hmm.
and it definitely was off-putting. And the thing that I think that they need to remember is that Law Roach has a lot of power within the industry. Nina Garcia, Heidi Klum. You don't want to rub them the wrong way.
Right. Hmm.
Even if you lose, they're a good contact to have. Like,
Hmm.
maybe Law likes your look and is like, you know what, you didn't win, but like make a dress for one of my clients.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to kind of get a kickstart to your career. So um it's interesting when you see people that join reality shows where I wonder if their motivation is to actually win and be successful in the industry that they're trying to go for, or if they're wanting to be a successful reality star. Because
Hmm.
those are two separate things, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
You can be a really good reality star, be good for the show, bring a lot of drama, be a villain, do all of those things, but are you really being, trying to put your best foot forward as far as joining the industry of fashion, or is this going to be your gig? Are you going to be the reality show queen or king?
Right. Right. And I guess that all depends upon the show itself. But
Yeah,
for like this type of where it's a competition show and a design competition show, right? Not just a um, Big Brother or something like that, right? So it's you have a skill set, and if you want to, if that's what you're there to do, like you said, to further your career, then yeah, you might not want to burn any bridges so soon.
yeah. And so the winner was Ethan, correct? He won
For the first episode, yes. Oh,
episode. He
speaking of
won
that,
his villain look, and it was really cool. It was pared down. It was not over the top. I don't think the cape was very dramatic,
hmm,
but it was very villain and very fashion forward.
yeah,
So I agree with the judges. I thought it was an amazing look, and kudos to him for winning.
yeah, I agree. His look did make a statement on the runway.
Yeah,
When it came in, it's like, ooh, yeah, you could tell that's a villain, and she just commanded the attention of everyone in that room.
yeah,
So, and it was a really cool elevated cape that adorned to the head and then came down. So it was interesting. I liked it, and I
yeah.
thought he deserved that win. Um, what do you think about the new format? In that they don't announce the winners, or haven't, at least the first two episodes, not the winner, but the eliminated designer to the next episode.
It's interesting. It definitely keeps you wanting to watch and see more.
Built-in cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's a cliffhanger for sure. Um, I kind of would want to see who gets kicked off that first, the episode that you're on,
Yeah.
because if there isn't a two-parter, then you're kind of just hanging there. So I would like to see it all in one, like it'd be all encapsulated in one episode.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that way we know who won and who got eliminated the same week. Maybe going forward they will,
Yeah,
but as right now, episode one just showed the winner. Episode two, the beginning showed who was eliminated, and then the winner of the next challenge. And now we have to wait for the next episode to find out who's going to be eliminated.
yeah. Second episode had a cool little twist. They allowed Ethan to, they were in
Hmm.
teams again, and they allowed him to swap someone out from his team and put him on the other team. And he chose to remove Jesus and put him on the other team with his brother.
Yeah.
And which was kind of a controversial move because Jesus, like, was in the top. So you're taking someone who is in the had a winning look, and saying, no, thank you, go ahead and be on the other team. But I think that it had a lot to do with personality
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
um, and the ability to work well within a team. So I could kind of see that, but down the road we'll see whether or not it was a good idea for him to do so.
Yeah.
Would you have kept the teams the same, or would you have flip flopped?
I would have flipped them, and I can understand why Ethan chose to remove the loudest designer from his team. I
Yeah.
mean, but it did backfire in a way
Mhm.
because now they were didn't talk at all. So went from one extreme to the next, right? So they went from someone who was talking, kind of grouped them together in a way so that they had a little more cohesion in their collection, to now they were just five designers in their own silos.
Yeah. And their assignment was kind of cool, right? They had to design athletic wear
Hmm.
that can transition from the gym yoga into an everyday like evening look, which is a
Yeah.
really kind of interesting assignment. I think some of them. Um, I couldn't see where a woman would be exercising in some of the looks that they came up with. Especially I think was it VJ's,
Yeah, hers.
where it was like a skirt with like these like shoestrings hanging down, and I was like, what kind of sport is a woman going to be doing in that look? Like I just couldn't see it.
The only sport I could say, and I thought the same way as you, is like maybe tennis, because they do wear some like tennis dresses in a way.
Yeah, but the skirts like normally like flow out so that they can run,
Yeah, yeah,
and
I know, I
this
know.
was like tight and form fitting, and it just I don't know, it was very weird.
It was
But
very
it was a unique challenge because it you definitely had to be creative, and um so people came up with some cool looks. Were
mhm.
there any looks that you liked, or that were on the top for you?
In the second challenge, I think I did like Jesus, and he's the one who ended up winning.
Yeah.
So his pants and jacket combo, I thought, were really hit the challenge the best because they went from athletic wear to evening or going out, meeting your friends later on that night. You don't have to change. I think Joseph McCrae and his oversized jacket, which I guess is going to be his style, very,
Like his signature.
yeah, very out there type of look. And the first episode, just going back to him real quick, I don't know what that was, but it looked like a sleeping bag to me.
Yeah.
And it and I laughed about it. He kind of redeemed himself a little bit in the second one, but as for favorite look for the Kalia challenge, is that what it was? Kalia, the brand? Um, Kalia. I'm trying to picture them all in my head right now.
I think for me, it was Utica's look, or I'm sorry, Ethan's look, and Jesus's look. Those were the two standouts for me. I think that if Ethan would have been on the winning team, he would have been in the top,
Yeah,
along
that's
with
true.
Jesus. It was just a very elegant look. It still was very functional, but I could have seen, how the the Olympians will get like these really cool uniforms,
For like
and
the walkout parade or
yeah,
whatever.
I
Yeah.
could have seen like someone wearing one of those outfits with that like fin that
Yeah, that was
she had
cool.
on the
Yeah.
side.
Hmm.
That was really cool. And then Jesus is obviously was very versatile, being able to wear it to participate in athletics and then be able to wear it to go out. So
Yeah.
I think that was a really good look.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Ethan's look was really good, although he did get called out by the judges saying that, oh, you had a strong look, so you didn't care about the rest of your team,
Yeah,
which it was, there's the whole team dynamic thing coming back into it. But
yeah.
yeah, he did have a strong look. But I think Jesus was probably my favorite from that one.
Yeah, and he had Jesus had a redeeming moment because La Roach loved the look, and
Yeah.
like you did something that many people can't do. You made me keep my mouth
Yeah.
shut,
He
and
gave you no
that was
words
a
or
cool
whatever.
moment for him, which I think is sort of like a learning lesson for people. Was like, instead of becoming extremely defensive, like absorb the critique and learn from it and then come back with something better to kind of prove that person wrong. And the fact that Law Roach is honest and will say, you did really well, like
Yeah.
shut me up, like
Yeah.
you rose to the challenge, and I respect that. Is definitely a quality that a lot of people in these design competitions should have, because I think that it would really help them to kind
Yeah.
of just like absorb the critique. You're going to be getting critique by putting your fashions out in the world. Develop a thick skin and then just come back with a stronger look.
Mm-hmm. And you said redemption, and I think that just comes back because of the first episode. Law hated Jesus' look,
Yeah,
and hate was such a strong word. He said it's only 4 letters,
yeah,
but he absolutely hated it, and that's where the judges disagreed on. But he just absolutely ripped it apart. Jesus's first look.
yeah.
So to have that redemption, like you said in the second episode, where you're on the top now and win, it it's both elevating for yourself as a designer to know that you can, you know, change someone's mind, but also I have no idea where where I was going with that.
So this episode, Alex was the one that went home. She had a look that was it's inspired by her Japanese heritage, and they didn't really buy that.
Did they announce that as that she was the losing one?
Yeah, didn't she go home? Or am I just assuming that she's going to go home?
I think I think she's in the bottom, but I don't know if they did announce that.
That's on next episode. I think
Yeah,
I assumed that. Maybe I'm having a psychic moment, and
maybe. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong because it wasn't that great.
yeah, maybe I'm just assuming that. That's weird. So we'll see if Alex is the one to get chopped. I think she's my number one for going home. I think that her look was not successful,
Yeah, it
and
wasn't.
I think that she is going to be the one to go home next week.
Right. I mean, maybe they did. Maybe my memory's fuzzy and I don't
No,
remember.
because that's the format. They're not telling who goes home.
Yeah.
So I think it's just me looking in the towards the future here.
You read the writing on the wall there for that one.
So, looking forward to episode 3 and the rest of the season. Who are you most excited to kind of look forward to? Who stands out, and are you looking forward to what they do?
Well, like I said, I root for like the underdogs, and Angelo's really going to stand. Hopefully,
Yeah.
kicks it up a gear for me. I'm curious to see. Oh, where'd my list go? Um, what Madeline brings. She does. I guess her design aesthetic is mainly built from like historic design elements.
Oh yeah.
So I'm curious to see what she will do when given the chance to really show off her own skills.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think those two. I mean, I think if I had to pick a winner after 2 episodes, it would probably be Ethan. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see what he's going to continue to bring.
Yeah, for me, Ethan and Jesus are like my top two.
Yeah,
I think that hopefully we'll see them in the finale. I think there's going to be a couple people that probably might surprise us, and see some work. I think Bologna might be one of those people that
yeah,
comes up with some interesting things, and also um, looking for his name, Yu Chen.
yeah, yeah. That's true. He was very. Him and Jesus got into it a little bit as well, and that was some interesting drama there.
Yeah, he definitely was giving back what Jesus
Yeah.
was handing out, and was like, like, no, you're not going to tell me what to do. Like, I've done collections. I'm a designer as well. Like, you're not going to try to school me and like what's going to happen here. So, I definitely was a fan of his for standing up against Jesus,
Yeah.
and his looks are really interesting. So I'm kind of curious to see where he goes moving forward.
Yeah, I like to see how a designer grows throughout the season. So I'm curious to see where it goes. I do like one thing that they added in for this season is when every time they cut to a designer talking to the camera,
Yeah.
right? They have their name, and then they have a little, little tidbit underneath their name, and it changed every single time based upon what they were talking about. So I thought that was very clever for the producer to do something like that, and I just kept laughing about it. It's like, doesn't want to be traded. Then it got crossed out, traded, and stuff like that. So just little things like that make me laugh.
Yeah, I think it was really clever for them to do that because we're so used to the format of these reality shows. So, like, any
Mhm.
little changes like that kind of spice it up and make things interesting again.
Yeah. So season 21, everyone, is here. It's out on Freeform, which I watch on Hulu, so I'm sure you can probably get it either way. Comes out every Friday for me at least. So tune in here to Pop Cult X every Saturday for your official Pop Cult X unofficial Project Runway recap show. And we're excited to break it down and give you our thoughts and feedbacks. And we want to hear from you guys as well. Who are your favorite designers? Who do you think should have went home? Went home? Who was? What was the spiciest moment of the episode for you? Let us know in the comments, and we will be sure to share ours.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to this season, so it's going to be a good one.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week for this.